Communication is key. I'm Jim Ross. He's Matt VanHorn. And this is 3 Mile Domination, where we talk about anything and everything regarding the world of self-storage. All right, let's jump into another episode of 3 Mile Domination Quick Hit. And again, going off of what we talked about before when it comes to owners looking for a self-storage management company, ultimately another aspect to really look for is what is their level of communication, with their owners. Do they prefer email? Is it you talk to them once a quarter? Are they available to call on their cell phone when need be?
Text message?
Exactly. So I love text messages.
Me too.
But ultimately, just sitting down and talking about that, exactly what kind of communication to expect from your management company.
I think that needs to be defined up front.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying there aren't emergency situations or I'm going through a refinance, so I may need you more than what I normally do.
Yeah.
But I really think it depends. Every person, every owner, investor, whatever, they have their own style of what they want. Some, we've had people in the past that don't really want to talk to us unless there's a problem and send me my check.
Yep.
Others want to talk regularly. I would get texts, sometimes a couple times a week. I've had others that we've set up regular meetings for that, I want a meeting with you once a week, or, we're working on a project, so we want to see how it's progressing, like we're adding an additional phase or something onto a property, or we want to talk once a month. Once we get the report, it's, the 7th of the following month or whatever it is. I think that needs to be put up front right away, but I also think that it goes both ways. I think if you're an owner or an investor, sometimes there's this idea that the management company only deals with you. And I can tell you from experience, I could not be able to afford to go to the grocery store if I dealt only with you.
Yeah.
We typically have a few clients. It may not be 100, but we do have other clients that we have to get things done for and we have to schedule for.
Sure.
So, you have to understand that your management company may not be available for a meeting, a big meeting or something right that second. I think that some of these things need to be scheduled. Do we prefer to have those in email going back and forth? Is it scheduled through somebody at the corporate office? How is that done? And I think those, setting those parameters of communication up front, or from the management company side, if things are getting busier on their side or they lose a staff member, something like that, because it happens, there's nothing you can do to get around that.
Sure.
Make sure that however that communication is going to take place in what order is conveyed both ways.
Yep, exactly. And again, it's just setting those expectations
right,
up front and not going, okay, you're hired, and then 2 months into it, the owner's realizing, well, I can never get a hold of whoever's in charge, or I'm sending emails and not getting responses back.
And we've heard that a number of times.
Oh, too many times that I can count.
Right.
So again, just being up front at the beginning of what the expectations are, what is the preferred method of communication, either for the management company or for the owner. Ultimately, it should be able what the owner is expecting that management company should cater to.
Of course.
But again, having those expectations up front will just help many headaches down the road. So again, just up front will just help tremendously.
Like I said, I think sometimes as owners or investors, sometimes you expect to be catered to right then. And I think most management companies will try to do that if they can. But you have to understand that, as a management company, we run a business as well. And we have a number of people that want that type of sometimes concierge type service, which we love to offer if we can. But there are times, like, for example, that Jim and I, that we're traveling, we're in the air. We can't necessarily return a call or get to you right away. Or, we're in the meeting, we're in another meeting. Or we're doing a site visit where we're having a, some sort of conversation or teaching or training scenario with a manager on the property.
Yeah.
Or maybe we're dealing with a developer or a contractor in terms of an expansion. Or maybe we're, working on a maintenance issue, or, a car went off the road and hit our sign at a property or something. Or maybe we're just eating lunch and, that's the 15-minute time period we have the day just to sit and eat something, and we'll get right back to you. It's one of those things where we try to cater to everybody's different types of schedules and needs, but There are times where it's just impossible to be available at any time.
Yep. And ultimately, we've kind of hit on this already here, but what I've seen, it works out really well. And again, we're busy, owners are busy, we get it. But if you set a schedule of, okay, you're going to get your month-end report,
yep,
you can get a lot done in 15 minutes. Honestly, a 15-minute meeting, just scheduled every month. You're going to get on a phone call, either Skype like this, or just even just a phone call. You can get a lot done.
Yes, you can.
If you're timely, in 15 minutes. You can do the little bit of BS of, how are things going, whatever, fine. But if you're talking real nuts and bolts of how the business is going, how the month was, is where we're going in the future, that kind of thing. Really, for a 15-minute phone call, we can all schedule that in for manager company and owners just to go over any questions, any follow-up. You can get a lot done. And I've really found that to be a very just simple and effective method.
Yeah, absolutely. And typically, too, in our experience, our owners, investors, whomever, operations people, they're busy, too. Nobody wants to have the little award that says, another meeting that should have been an email. That kind of thing. Nobody wants to waste anybody's time. So, again, your management company here is here to help you. And so, whatever needs to be done, whatever you need, if it's communicated up front, so we know, so we can schedule it, it's no problem at all.
Yep.
It's just sometimes that we're not available 24/7. I used to have owners call me at, different ones, 9, because I'm on Eastern time, 9, 10 o'clock at night to talk about a property, just unsolicited, and called me, which, again, I didn't really have a problem with, but I could have been more prepared other than 9 and 10 o'clock at night if I knew they wanted to talk about something.
Yep.
It's just one of those things where I've been out with a family member, something like that. So, when it comes to communication,
what?
it's
you have a life?
Huh?
Sorry to interrupt. I say, what? You actually have a life outside of storage?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I just don't close myself up in a metal box like a vampire and open the roll door in the morning and come out. It's it's a lot of these things, unless there's emergencies that happen. I mean, I managed in Missouri in Joplin when that tornado went through a few years ago and destroyed half the town. I mean, yeah, I was walking at that time. I remember at that time I was walking out of a comedy show with Louis Black and I got the phone call. Obviously I didn't know what happened at the time, but that's the kind of call that I expect at 10 at night. When something devastating happens. Or I've been down here in Florida. Jim lives in Utah. I'm here in Florida. And, I've been through hurricanes. And it knocks things out. Or tornadoes. Or lightning strikes. Or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of things that, we'll, if something happens, we'll be right on it. But typically, if we schedule out ahead of time, we can be even better prepared for you as an owner or investor, because typically there's something you need to schedule a meeting. And then that gives us time to research and put together the exact format or number that you need so you can get what you need done.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Typically with a bank or something like that.
Yeah, because if I just turn the tables here, if I was an owner,
sure,
and I'm scheduling time and all that, I would hate to be answered back with, I'll get back to you on that. Let me find out and I'll get back to you. You're just pushing it down the road. So, yeah, if you have a agenda set ahead of time of what to go over, we can be prepared. You're going to be prepared. It's a great way to handle things. So, I think that's really the key is, communication is the key, and that we can wrap this one up here.
Yep, I agree. I mean, like I said, it's, find the people. With working with a management company, it's like I said, it's not all about the numbers. It is, 90% of it's about the numbers. But the other part of it is, can I work with that individual? Do they, meet the needs that I have in terms of communication, in terms of reporting, getting things to me on time? Are they available when I need to? Because again, you may find a company that cannot adequately service your specific need. And so it's not a bad thing to talk to a couple different ones.
Yep, exactly. Couldn't agree more. All right, so let's wrap this up. We'll talk to you later.
Have a good week, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Go to 3miledomination.com/call to schedule your free 30-minute marketing tune-up call. I'll give you solid advice you can easily implement with or without us. Until next time.